Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Channel 8 sports presentation. This afternoon from J. Doyle Field here at East Brunswick, it is football as the Bears host Edison in a Greater Middlesex Conference Red Division game. Hi, I'm Jimmy Allinder, being joined, as always, by Phil Hill. And Phil, we got to begin this broadcast by talking about what happened last week, and that was a 62-14 loss by East Brunswick at J.P. Stevens.
Well,
Take it from there.
We can talk about it, but if you're the Bears, you want to put it behind you. I'll tell you, one of the toughest defeats that I've ever seen for the Bears. The fact of the matter is they were never in the game, and I think the thing that stuck out in my mind, probably one of the poorest examples of tackling that I've seen exhibited by an East Brunswick team in years. And I talked to Marcus Borden about that, and he recognized it too. He said they did a session, 45-minute session on nothing but tackling. And he hopes to improve on that. Of course, you and I both know you can teach form for tackling, but tackling is pretty much wanting to do it. And if you don't want to hit somebody, and if you don't want to put your nose in there, you're not going to do it. Hopefully this week we'll see a little difference here.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about some different things that we're going to see from East Brunswick. I understand that the so-called passing aerial attack that they were using in the first two games is pretty much out the window, and they're going to go back to the E-bone.
Well, it's supposed to be a secret, Jim, so you just let it out, but the people won't get it till later. But they're going to go with the E-bone, and it's understandable. What they've been doing is turning over the ball much too quickly. It's been 3 and out, and the opposing teams have been getting it, and it's been wearing down East Brunswick's defense. It's been unfair to East Brunswick's defense. So what they hope to do is to control the ball a little bit more by running the E-bone. In order to have a good passing game anyway, you got to establish the run. So Marcus is going back to basics. He hasn't ditched the passing game altogether, but he does want to control that ball a little bit more by running the E-bone.
And obviously with Ryan Cosentino being a quarterback with a great arm, you certainly want to keep the passing game as a factor in the offense. Sure. Passing and as well as what the wishbone will bring. A couple of things about Edison now. Tell us what we can expect from this 2-0 team.
This 2-0 team's a running team. They like to run. They run the ball down your throat, so to speak. They have two very good runners, Mike Johnson, and they got a good quarterback, Bob Brownlee. He of the GMC pitching fame for Edison. And they're very, very solid there. They will pass when they have to pass the ball. They come into this game 2-0, Jimmy, and we don't know the last time an Edison team has been 2-0. They went 1-8 last year. They're feeling real good about themselves. I talked to Tom Gargiuliano, and he says the team it's still young and it's still early, but he feels this is a pretty solid team.
And in your opinion, how important is this a game for East Brunswick? We talked about, stopping the bleeding, so to speak, of what is clearly a disappointing start. Is this a must-win situation for East Brunswick, or do you feel that they just want to have a good appearance?
I think they want to win, Jim. I think they want to win right now, and a good appearance won't hurt them. I tell you why, I was very impressed to hear some of the kids say we had an excellent week of practice. Considering the game they had against J.P. Stevens, for the team to come out and have a good week of practice like they did is a positive sign. So, but they want to win. They don't want any moral victory or anything like that. They need a W on the board.
The resiliency of youth to set aside what was a disaster last week and look forward with a positive attitude. Well, anyway, we're going to be watching this game with close eyes, as always, and we're going to take a break right now and be back with the kickoff in just a moment. Back at J. Doyle Field here at East Brunswick High School, where you see the captains shaking hands. I missed the call, Phil. Do we know who's kicking off?
Well, I'm trying to check out the captains there. Brian Mineta.
Brian Mineta, yeah, right, 62, and
Anthony Alexander with the change in number.
Right, from 98 to 61. So we make a note of that. Oh, we'll find out in a second who will be kicking and who will be receiving. Phil mentioned that this is a ground-oriented offense for Edison, and I remember, I guess back in the early 90s, Edison was among the better teams in the GMC Red Division.
That's for sure.
Okay, but has fallen on some tough times, but is looking to reemerge.
Well, they have reemerged when you consider, again, they were 1-8 last year. To come out 2-0, They have some talent. They have some good running backs. They have a very good offensive line. So I think you're going to see something here. And the Bears are going to receive, Jim.
Yeah, I noticed that. And as has been the case throughout the season, Petty and Merrigan, along with number 22, Chris Hurley, will be the deep backs. Pleasant will be situated about at the 25. Kicking off for Edison appears to be number 74, Ed Bachoric. We'll try at that.
And they'll tell you they're missing.
Maybe not. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
They're missing their all-county kicker there. Dan Kralich, probably one of the best kickers in the state.
Okay.
Is out with a fractured tibia.
Okay, Bachoric, who puts a little. You better get on that.
I'll tell you, you don't want to guard that out of bounds too long. It goes recover.
Exactly.
But again, you can see that Edison had premier kickers in all the state of New Jersey. Kralich, he's out with a tibia, Jim, and you can see what their kicking game has been reduced to.
Yeah. Now, interestingly, Phil, the ball went out of bounds at about the 30-yard line, but apparently an East Brunswick player touched it before it went out of bounds.
Take it there.
No penalty flag was thrown. So it will be 1st and 10 for East Brunswick, and as we had mentioned in the opening, we're looking to see a more conservative, well, I wouldn't say conservative, but a more ground-oriented offense. But nonetheless, East Brunswick does have the weapons. And Phil, maybe that's what East Brunswick needs to do, establish the running game, which will make the passing game more successful.
No doubt about it.
This is Cosentino, the quarterback, keeps it himself, pitches.
Oh, wow.
And that's Hurley. And a nice gain for East Brunswick, 1st down.
And I tell you, the element of surprise there, again, I don't think the Edison Eagles are looking for this E-bone here. And just an awfully nice start for the Bears there. An automatic 1st down, a big pickup by Hurley by the pitch by Cosentino.
So a gain of 11 on the play brings the ball up to the 41-yard line. East Brunswick with many of the same faces, but again, probably executing a little bit differently, doing different things with this type of offense. Now we don't have an E-bone. This is the same split stitch. Well, it is. Yeah, okay. Cosentino keeps it himself. Has a good opening. But he fumbles the ball, and Edison recovers it.
I'll tell you, Jim.
A nice gain by Cosentino, negated by that fumble.
I'll tell you, Marcus Borden talked about turnovers. Turnovers has hurt this team. If you remember on the first play of the game against J.P. Stevens, they had a turnover with an interception bouncing off a receiver's hands. On the second offensive play here, Jim, on a nice pickup by Cosentino, unfortunately, he gets hit and he fumbles the ball, and Edison has the ball in good field position.
And as East Brunswick was on the 41, Edison is on its own 41 as it begins action. Quarterback, help us out, that's Brownlee.
Brownlee.
Okay, Bob Brownlee, number 12. And we'll look at the backs. Give to number, I believe that's 33.
I think that's Felton Monroe.
Felton Monroe. And East Brunswick recovers a fumble. I don't know who got that ball,
I think it was number 52, and Mike McManus, I believe.
Okay, so right away we have 2 turnovers, and East Brunswick has the ball back.
Fair turnaround is fair play.
And Phil, off those first 2 plays that East Brunswick ran, you have to be encouraged with the way
they look good.
Yeah,
they look good. They're controlling the ball and picking up yards. They just got to hold on to it, Jim.
We are just underway here at J. Doyle Field, where East Brunswick is meeting Edison. 11 minutes left in the first period. No score. Cosentino calls signals. I thought there was movement, but official lets it go.
I'll tell you, the Bears were fortunate, Jim. Number 77, David Oliver, I thought moved as well and whatnot. However, it wasn't called.
Brad Pleasant, the compact 5'3", 147-pound junior, was the ball carrier on that play, and got about 3 yards on the play, let's call it.
And Pleasant, one of the few bright spots in the loss to J.P. Stevens, scoring 2 touchdowns last week, and they got him in that starting offense, Jim.
We'll call it 2nd and 7. Ball was on the 37-yard line. American split wide to the left, Petty to the right. Cosentino looks like he's going to pass it, throws it downfield.
Oh,
right,
great
caught
pass.
Nice. This time it's caught by Mark Begay, number 24, for a solid gain.
I'll tell you, Mark Begay, the tight end, taking over for Anthony Alexander. They made that switch last week, and it's paid off right there.
And Phil, I have to tell you, off of the first two games, that's one of the most impressive throws that we've seen from Cosentino.
Not only the throw, but the action, the fake, the play action area. He hit the ball nicely on the hip and came up throwing.
Okay, Merrigan and Petty again split wide. 24, Begay is the tight end. This is Cosentino with it, keeps the ball and finds nothing. As a matter of fact, he may have got to the line of scrimmage. We're going to mark him back for a yard loss.
And
making a 2nd and 11.
That's Nick Kilroy in on that tackle, number 53 there.
Looks like Monroe is the leader on defense, Phil, number 33.
Oh, no doubt. He's a tough kid.
Okay.
Tough kid both ways.
Senior, 6 foot, 200 pounds. Okay, now you have the traditional wishbone for East Brunswick. Hurley, Pleasant, 2 of the backs. And Pleasant with the ball.
Oh, a nice
cut inside, get some good yards.
Nice juke at the line of scrimmage there to avoid a tackler by Pleasant.
That was probably about a 5-yard gain. And East Brunswick is now down to the 8-yard line. They can still get a first down.
And I'll tell you, I talked to Tom Gardrulo, the coach of Edison, and said, "You're not overlooking this East Brunswick team, are you?" He said, "No way in the world. We didn't show them the J.P. Stevens film of East Brunswick, and he thinks his guys are ready here. But right now, the Bears seem to be taking it to him."
These guys are mostly under 17, and I think it was rated X.
And here's a flag. Let's see what this flag is about, Jim.
Now they're pointing toward East Brunswick. Could it be that somebody lined up in the neutral zone? What is that call? Oh, no, it is against Edison. I have no idea. I've never seen that before, Phil. And I've seen a lot of football games.
A sideline penalty there, Jim. As my cheer just broke.
Is that a personal?
5 yards, Jim.
They haven't marked it off yet. They haven't done anything yet. What's going on here?
It was 5 yards, Jim, I think.
Absolutely not, Phil. The ball's still on the 8-yard line.
Okay.
And it's 3rd down as well. Okay. Maybe that was a pickup of a flag. Ball's through, and Hurley goes through for a touchdown.
Chris Hurley.
And I have to tell you, Edison seems confused and surprised.
Well, I'll tell you this here, Jim. You got to give Marcus Borden and his crew a lot of credit there. The Eagles came in here looking for this tremendous passing game that the Bears have touted all year, and Marcus changed up this week and went back to the E-bone. Clearly, the Eagles are off balance here, and the Bears are executing it very well.
A belated number 82, Chris Yanazzo, comes on to do the extra point. He wasn't even ready.
I'll tell you, Chris is going to be one of the real good ones that come out of here.
Snap, kick is up and through. And East Brunswick takes a 7-0 lead with 8:10.
And keep an eye, East Brunswick is known for developing super kickers. Of course, we have in the pros right now Josh Miller with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you watch this Chris Unazel, just a sophomore, Jim, but the young fella has a leg, and the way he's starting, he's going to be a name that you're going to hear about kicking-wise before he leaves out of East Brunswick.
Okay. An animated Marcus Borden is down there imploring his team.
He's got to feel great, Jimmy.
Yeah.
As I said, they had an excellent week of practice, and that was great in and of itself after J.P. Stevens. And to go back to the E-bone and change things up, and for them to execute it as well as they have on this first drive here, Jim, is something to feel good about.
Okay. Well, Phil, you and I talked, and we both agreed that, physically East Brunswick does have many, many horses with which to run and pass. We talked about Cosentino, and you just have to wonder if this team can light a fire under itself, how good it can be.
Really. Here's Unazo again kicking off, Jim. Let's check his leg out.
Okay. And let's see, who do we have deep for Edison? Well, that is a nice kick.
Good kick.
Ball is deep, lands on the 10-yard line, taken by number 15, who is tackled
by Hurley.
Will Hawthorne, a junior, 6 foot, 160 pounds, advances the ball up to the 20-yard line where Edison will begin. And good field coverage for East Brunswick special teams.
Adam Petty actually on that tackle there, but it's good to see the Jesse James game back. Their special teams were certainly a little weak against J.P. Stevens, and they come out right here.
Well, they were suspect all season, all season long.
Well, maybe it's a change right here.
Yeah, okay. All right, we mentioned that Brownlee is the quarterback. I'll have to get the field glasses on this. Number 23, the ball carrier for Edison, Mike Johnson. Senior 5'8", 170 pounds.
And I'll tell you, one of the tacklers in on there is Andrew Batwash, just a sophomore. And I tell you, Marcus said he's going to make some changes here. He's going to put some people that want to do some hitting here. Andrew Batwash is in there as part of that tackle there. Again, just a sophomore.
Well, that was only a gain of 1 yard, so that makes it 2nd and 9. The backs for Edison are number 34, Joe Margaritondo.
Marshall Marani, split right.
And that's number 22 with the ball. He doesn't get much. That's, how do you pronounce that, Phil? Ashatanasalo? Oh, boy.
You can take it.
Estanasalo. How's that sound?
That's close, Jim.
He gets about 1.5 yards, maybe 2 yards. So Edison is facing a 3rd down situation. 3rd and 7. And thus far, the East Brunswick defense has played pretty well. You got 2 receivers, actually 3 split wide to the right for the Eagles. This is a passing situation. Brownlee back to pass, and he's,
I'll tell you,
lassoed by number 4, Anthony Pisapia.
Pisapia blowing in there and tackling him for a loss, Jim.
And a real nice play. It looks like somebody blew an assignment for Edison, but nonetheless, it's a 4th down.
And the Bears coming out looking like 2 different teams, Jim. Both offensively and defensively. You got to be very pleased.
You know, Phil, East Brunswick should get the ball in pretty good field position here with Petty and Merrigan, the deep backs. Now we have an official timeout.
Equipment check here.
Okay, looks like one of East Brunswick's linebackers is checking the helmet. Back to punt is, I think, Johnson, number 23.
Again, another guy they had a substitute for Kralich, the all-county punter who's out, Jim.
That's Mikalski, the punter for Edison. A wobbly snap from center. Nonetheless, Mikalski gets it off. And it looks like Petty's going to take it on a bounce. Couldn't avoid number 86.
I'll tell you.
Nice tackle.
Fine tackle.
Garbolino, Adam Garbolino, number 86 for Edison. But take a look at the field position for East Brunswick on the 46-yard line of Edison. And so that offense, which looked so good the first time around, will have another opportunity. Cosentino jogs onto the field.
And I tell you, when you lose part of your kicking game like Edison has, Dan Kralich, again, one of the better punters and kickers in the state here. And you can see both on kickoffs and punting, they miss him already.
We'll set you on that offensive line here in a moment. Pleasant goes in motion. Give this time is to Hurley, who is caught behind the line of scrimmage. Nice tackle.
I'll tell you, a fine tackle from the backside by number 22, Andre Stanislaw.
Yeah, we had him before. Listen, your center is Tom Crail, Brian Mineta, Anthony Alexander, Adam Greenhut, and Oliver, along with Chris Gamboa, will be your linemen this afternoon. And many of those same faces will play on defense.
And Gamboa and Mineta have been switched to guards, Jim, in order to get this running game going, and it looks like it's paying off already.
Okay, a loss of 1 on the play makes it 2nd down 11. Cosentino keeps it, now gives it to Pleasant, who finds a little bit of daylight and then is wrestled down.
A swarming defense for the Edison Eagle Deers, led by linebacker Mike Allen.
Okay.
Pleasant tried to throw the tackler off, but Allen too strong.
Pleasant gets back to about the original line of scrimmage, so we have a 3rd and 10 yards to go for East Brunswick. And you would think that East Brunswick would be passing here. Adam Petty to the right. He is the only receiver that we see split wide. This is Cosentino, gets away from one player. And
I'll tell you, Costantino thought better about pitching it, Jim.
right. Boy, they were coming that time, weren't they?
Coming at that time, and may have made the right decision to hold on to the ball.
Exactly.
Even though you saw Hurley out there because there was a Edison defender in there, and you certainly don't want to give a turnover right there.
So that loss of 4 will make it 4th and 14. Balls just over the midfield line. East Brunswick will be in a punting situation.
And they got Mike, the ever-present dangerous Mike Johnson back there as one of the.
Kevin Shull is the punter for East Brunswick. Gets off a high kick, coming down to number 23. That's Georgie. Excuse me, I'm sorry. That's Johnson.
And
ball's up in the air, but the whistle
ripped it out.
Blow.
Oh no!
They called Johnson down.
They blew the whistle. Brian Merrican just ripped it out of his hands, and the whistle had blown apparently. I'll tell you a quick whistle, Jim.
Okay.
But again, the Jesse James gang doing a nice job on the special teams there.
And has the defense in their first opportunity. 3 and out the last time for Edison. The ball's on about the 17-yard line. It is first down for the Eagles. This is a 2-0 club coming into this game. Here's a gift wide to number 44, who is rammed.
I'll tell you.
Number 44, Mike Allen, was the ball carrier. Great tackle. Was that number 24 that tackled him, Phil?
I'm trying to see here.
Well, what looked to be some daylight for Edison's Allen was closed very quickly by the East Brunswick tackler. He gets about 1 yard. I thought Begay was in on that.
I thought Wickberg might have been in on it too as well, Jim.
2nd and 9 for Edison. They really have not broken anything yet. Brownlee, the signal caller. Good penetration by East Brunswick that time.
Great tackle.
That was good penetration by the East Brunswick line, and it really caused Edison some problems. 33 was the carrier. Felton Moore gets up just about to the line of scrimmage. It's 3rd down and 9 yards to go.
And I think Costantino came up there, Jim.
Okay.
The Bears looking good defensively, Jim.
Well, that's the thing. And last week was, I think it was 41-0 at halftime. Okay. Well, obviously a different East Brunswick team. Brownlee, back to pass. He finds his opening, but the ball is dropped. And that would have been just enough for a first down had it been caught by number 85, Jerry Lithgow. But with that incompletion, it makes it a 4th down, and Edison will have to punt once again. Merrigan, Petty will be the deep backs. Alexander, wearing number 61 today, will be about at the 35-yard line. This is Edison punting. Good snap this time. And a good arcing kick. Petty's going to gather it in. He takes it. He's got some room. Avoids one tackle. He's got another opening. Now we got a penalty flag, Phil. Apparently East Brunswick was called for a block, illegal block.
Didn't see it, Jim, but the official was right there.
Nice run back by Petty. East Brunswick would have position down on the 23-yard line, but they're going to call a clip on the Bears on about the 38, so we're going to march back 15 from there. And East Brunswick will probably start out on its own 48-yard line. We have just 1:43 left in the first period. East Brunswick on top, 7-0 over Edison. And the official decides to mark it on the, let's see, 46-yard line. So an unfortunate penalty for the Bears.
It's still pretty decent field position, though.
It is, but considering that they could have had the ball back on the 23-yard line, you're talking a 10, 20, a good 35-yard difference. Let's see what East Brunswick can do this time. They were kind of stymied. Edison was coming at them the first time. Costantino gives to Pleasant. He's got an opening.
Ooh.
Hit hard.
I'll tell you, number 34 and...
Number 35.
And 35.
Right.
And 15, rather.
Lesniak, Margaritando. Gain of about 4 yards, let's call it. Not a bad gain.
And Borden talking to Pleasant. Pleasant should have, in his estimation, hit the outside, I believe.
2nd and 6 for the Bears. Ball's just over the midfield mark. Cosentino gives to the first man up.
That's Leota. And I'll tell you, Leota, not too big, but just a hard driving young man there.
And Phil, I have to tell you, off of the first game against Bridgewater Raritan, when he was carried off the field with what we thought was a severe concussion, to see him back after that.
He came back during the J.P. Stevens game.
That's just almost amazing.
And he tells you he was in Never Land, but I saw him up the mall and said, "You going to play this week?" He says, "Of course."
Could he tell you which mall he was at? 3rd and 5 for East Brunswick. And here come the Eagles. Good pass. Mark Begay had it right in his belly.
Once again, a good play action by Cosentino, and he did hit Begay there. Again, this is Begay's first game at tight end there. Made an awfully good catch on his the first pass.
He made an outstanding grab the first time around.
And that one thrown in the breadbasket there, not able to hold on to it, though.
Well, obviously, Mark Begay has to have the ball thrown beyond his reach in order for him to catch it. Well, okay. With that incompletion, it's a 4th down for East Brunswick.
And Shull back to punt once again. And watch out for Mike Johnson.
High snap, but Shull gathers it in. A line drive this time. And East Brunswick's good tackle there. Good coverage by that defensive team.
That's
very little running room.
Ryan Merrigan down there, along with number 61, who is Anthony Alexander.
And with that punt, the clock expires in the first quarter, so the score remaining after 1 quarter of play, East Brunswick 7 and Edison nothing.
I'll tell you, Jim, the thing that strikes me the most thus far in this game is not their offensive potency, but the fact that they're tackling. That 45 minutes that Marcus took his team through has paid off early. They are tackling today, and that's a big difference.
Yes, it really does start with the defense for this club. It always has. It's amazing how, what things you can do with your offense when your defense is playing a good game.
That's right.
We're seeing it this afternoon, especially on the special teams,
Special teams look awfully sharp. Look awfully sharp.
And once again, Edison finds itself in not the best field position, and they're on their own 22. East Brunswick certainly has had the advantage in that department.
I'll tell you, in talking to Tom Gargiulo, he said they wouldn't take East Brunswick lightly, but kids read the papers and whatnot, and how do you not think, if you're coming in 2-0 and your crosstown rival J.P. Stevens has just stung this team, how do you not think that you can walk out there and do a job on them?
Well, Phil, I think we are particularly guilty of doing a lot of comparisons based on past records, and you really can't do that.
Can't do that.
Things change so much.
Every game.
Bob Brownlee, again, the quarterback for Edison. He's going to pass. He's looking for a receiver.
Ooh.
Just missed by Pisapay. He throws it, and looks like the receiver didn't turn around.
He didn't turn around.
Right. Ball was intended for number 80, Sean Warner.
Once again, Anthony Pasapia putting good pressure in, blowing in there, number 4. And
is he a new face, Phil, to the defense?
No, he's been around. He played some last year, Jim.
Okay.
And he's a senior, and he's getting his time to play this year.
Well, he's looking awful aggressive, which is a great sign. I think East Brunswick really wants some good leadership on that defense.
That's for sure.
Okay. Mineta over top of center. He's been a force. Incompletion, 2nd and 10 for Edison. Give right up the middle, and well,
I'll tell you, a host of tacklers there.
Ball was carried by number 34, Margaritando.
You got Mark Begay, you got Zukas, you got Tom Corio as well in on a tackle.
That was a gain of about 2.
I'll tell you, got some of those softs in there. I like to see that.
Okay. Another 3rd down situation for Edison. They have not been successful on their 2 third down attempts.
You got 2 sophomores in there at linebacker, Jim.
Okay. The wideouts are Warner and Lithgow to the top side. Merrigan and Petty on them. Brownlee is looking.
There's a flag.
Looking to throw. He's not going to be able to find. Yes, he does. And that ball is slightly overthrown. Let's see what this flag's all about.
Got to believe it's on the offense, Jim.
A legal motion.
Right.
Edison, that will be refused since it was an incomplete pass. And once again, East Brunswick has done the job on defense, 3 and out.
Different defense, just a very aggressive Bear defense here and putting all sorts of pressure on Brownlee, the quarterback.
And with East Brunswick's defense playing as well as it has, now is the time that the Bears really want to get their offense to get another touchdown in the board. So we will watch this kick. High snap.
I tell you, nobody coming in, Jim.
Petty will take it. No, he lets it go. Thought he might grab that. And
these guys knock it off.
and they're still going at it.
These guys down there are still blocking.
What we're referring to is down at the other end of the field, but the punter and an accompanying player.
Matt Aronowitz was blocking until he heard the whistle.
Okay.
But again, a high snap there, Jim. The Bears had the return defense offense on, apparently. Nobody blowing in there, otherwise they might have had a chance.
Well, kind of thought Petty should have grabbed that ball. It was a good bounce right into his arms, but he elected to let it go. So ball bounds down to the 22-yard line, and East Brunswick will set up shop there. 10:43 remaining in the second period. East Brunswick ahead 7-0. They scored in the first period on a Hurley 8-yard run. This give is up the middle and gain of about 3 yards. That might be Leota, is it not?
That is Leota.
Okay.
And again, Leota just is steady and tough.
Tough is the word. As a wrestler,
When you consider, though, he's 5'7", 160 pounds, and he's playing the fullback position, though, Jim.
Okay.
And he picks you up 3 yards at a clip. That's saying a whole lot.
2nd and about 7 with that 3-yard gain. Cosentino. Edison looks to be shifting a little bit. Cosentino with the ball, gives it to Hurley, who loses the handle. Now we have a flag.
And I tell you, Hurley tried to reach back and pick that ball up.
I don't think he ever had it
fall on it,
because the Edison people, now they say they have it, and the referee agrees.
And I'll tell you, Marcus will talk to him when he comes to the side. It's one thing to fumble, but you cannot reach back down to pick the ball up. You just got to fall on it, Jim.
That's exactly what happened. He never did get a handle on the ball, and then when he was hit, the ball popped loose, and the Edison.
And you look at Bob Brownlee at the quarterback position for Edison.
Okay, Edison with real good field position here. Ball on the 26-yard line. Brownlee will call signals. Pitch to number 23. Closing in, though, by East Brunswick. Real nice job. I think there's another loose ball. That ball was carried by Johnson, number 23. I thought there was a fumble on that play.
Shaw came up first to slow him down, Jim. Almost had him for a loss.
Well, we'll give him 3 yards on that play.
And Andrew Batwash makes the tackle.
This is an I formation for the Eagles. Brownlee, give up the middle, nothing.
I'll tell you, nice job. First one in on the tackle there is Mark Begay, number 24.
And I'll tell you what, very, very little running room for Edison this afternoon up the middle. Actually, a loss of a yard on that play makes it about 3rd and 8.
The defense looking tough. And sometimes you have to get in the kid's head and talk about hitting, and that's what the Bears do on the day. Okay, 3rd down here, Jim.
Okay, this is somewhat of a big play for Edison. Brownlee back to pass, gets hit. However, the pass is caught by number 34, Marganarotondo, who dances out of bounds at about, let's see, he is beyond the first down marker, so that is a first down.
And I tell you, I thought they were going to get Brownlee back there. He's able to avoid one would-be tackler and get the ball off, Jim, for the all-important first down.
And I think that's the first pass completion for the Eagles this afternoon. So they advance the ball down to the 13-yard line. This is about the first sustained offense for the Eagles.
Alexander in and Manetta out.
Give is to number 22. That's Stanislaw, who gets good yards.
And I tell you, you turn the ball over on your side of the field there, Jim, and it seems like it's given Edison new life.
Well, that was East Brunswick's second turnover. You remember they lost the ball back in the first period. It didn't hurt them, but this one could be troublesome. Gain of 6 on the play, 2nd down and 6 for the Eagles. Ball's on the 13-yard line.
And watch out for Sean Warner, spread right.
Brownlee gives the number 44. We're seeing a lot of new faces, Phil. A lot of faith. That's Mike Allen on that carrier, but Edison uses a lot of people.
An awful lot of people, yeah. They use seven different people have been involved in scoring for them.
Well, let's call it a gain of about 1. That's about it. So it's 3rd and 3. Ball is down to the 5-yard line. I'm watching number 74, Pachor, 6 foot 270, the center.
They're in that I formation right now, Jim. And
looks like Brownlee's going to pass. Does he have somebody open? Well, the ball was intended for number 86, Lithgow, but I think it was a matter of Brownlee intending the ball to go to a certain spot and Lithgow to catch up with it, and it didn't happen.
I'll tell you, Mike McManus in there on Brownlee, forcing him to throw that ball off balance.
So with that, it makes it 4th down, and not quite sure what Edison's going to do here. It doesn't look like they're going to go for a field goal.
Ordinarily, they would kick from here for the field goal, but again, Dan Kralich, their kicker, is injured, so they got to go for it.
All right, so a good big play here for the Bears defense. Brownlee drops back. He's being pursued, and he's going to be hassled.
A host of tacklers.
Good call there by the East Brunswick defense.
Mike McManus, the first one in there. You got Zukas. You got, who else? 53.
Darren Wickberg.
Darren Wickberg as well.
And not only does East Brunswick stop that drive, but they get the ball all the way back on about the 24-yard line.
I tell you, just a
great stand by the defense.
Aggressive defense right there, no doubt about it.
So with 6:40 left to go in the second period, East Brunswick ahead 7-0. And now the Bears will try once again. Twice they fumbled, twice it hasn't hurt them.
And I think you can look for them to stay with the ball control here, Jim. Things seem to be working well for them.
I'd like to see him get another touchdown, Phil. Any way, shape, or form. Cosentino back to pass. He's throwing long, and it looks like Merrigan.
Oh, mercy.
Can't reach it.
I tell you.
Well, that's what they were going for, the bomb.
They were going for it, and Merrigan out there by his lonesome. The ball just bounces off his fingertips, Jim.
Oh, boy.
Nobody near him.
And that's simply timing. Merrigan all by himself. He had caught that in stride. He had nobody around him, and he has good speed. Would have gone all the way to the end zone.
I was surprised they came out the big throw right there, Jim.
So that incomplete makes a 2nd down and 10. Has to have Edison thinking anyway. Cosentino gives the ball to Pleasant, eludes one tackle, eludes another one. And a nice gain.
But there's a flag against the Bears,
okay.
Jim, in the legal formation, I believe.
Good piece of running by Brad Pleasant.
Oh, yeah, Pleasant's come on.
Legal procedure is the call. So that'll bring the East Brunswick team back 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, back to the 19-yard line. So two unfortunate situations here. The incomplete pass followed by this 5-yard penalty, and now East Brunswick offense is starting to sputter a little bit.
Well, the good news, they didn't lose the down, Jim.
Clock continues to run. We're at the 6-minute mark of second period. This is quarterback Constantino, hands it off to the second back. That was Leota, who doesn't really get anything. That will call it about a yard gain.
And a third down and long situation here, Jim.
So this begs for a pass.
And you got to wonder, will they go to their no-back Frisco set right here? The only drawback on that is there's nobody in the backfield to block, and you got to believe Edison will be blown in here.
Okay. Merrigan wide to the left.
They go to their Frisco set. Let's see what happens.
Well, you do have Hurley back there. Give is to Pleasant, who finds a hole, and he got some more running room.
And slipped down, I tell you.
Yep.
But he did get some breathing room for him to
advances the ball to the 29-yard line.
do some punting here.
Brad Pleasant, 5'3", 147 pounds.
He's probably more than that, Jim. If you were to ask him, he's probably about 150 something.
I'm sure he would say that.
But tough kid.
Okay, fourth down, and so East Brunswick will punt. And Edison will certainly not have the same field position it had last time. Shull lofts one high and deep, backs up the Edison runner, who makes a nice cut and gets up to about the 40-yard line. That was Johnson.
And Chris Corsal on the tackle there. Another sophomore.
So Edison will have the ball for, I think, about the fourth time. They narrowly missed scoring the last time they had the ball, but a great defensive play by East Brunswick on a fourth down. Sacking quarterback Bob Brownlee did the job. So here is Edison on their own 40. About 4 minutes left in the second quarter. Looks like number 52, Mineta, is guilty of going into the neutral zone. And that is discipline that has to be, I mean, it's a mental mistake. That's all it is.
It's a mental mistake, but it's your player being aggressive, Jim, and wanting to get in there. And a coach may give up one or two of those a game, as long as it's not in crucial situations.
Well, gives Edison a 1st and 5. Official timeout.
Equipment adjustment for Zukas.
Looks like he's going to have to step out for a moment.
Zukas' face mask appears to be loose.
So Mahoney, the junior, is in. This is Edison. Bob Brownlee, the quarterback. Give is to number 23.
And they got him wrapped up, I tell you.
That was number 23, Johnson, on the carry, and a really excellent tackle by number 61, Alexander. Just stopped him cold.
Alexander stopped him cold, and you had Tom Corio once again in on the tackle as well.
So no gain on the play, and that makes it still 2nd and 5 now. Remember that penalty advanced the ball 5 yards for the Eagles.
Once again in the I formation.
Brownlee gives it to number 23. Johnson this time gets good yards. He was almost tackled at the line of scrimmage, but managed to squirm his way through.
I'll tell you, Scholl and Petty coming up with the tackle there. Johnson can go. Johnson ran the opening kickoff last week against Perth Amboy, 85 yards for a touchdown, and so he has the type of speed that he can break one. They got to stay on top of him.
Ball's on the 37-yard line. East Brunswick, we are down to 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the half. East Brunswick ahead 7-0. Ball is handed off to Johnson once again. This time he gets nothing.
Nothing.
And Phil, I tell you what, we've been just calling that all afternoon.
I'll tell you,
East Brunswick
defense
stopping
has
them.
been tough. You got Darren Wickberg there. You got Andrew Batwash there, and you got
Alexander as well.
Alexander as well on the bottom.
So no gain on the play. 2nd down and 10. And the Eagles taking their time. Clock not quite yet a factor. However, if they continue at this pace, it certainly will be. Brownlee back to pass. Lofts one, caught by number 84.
I'll tell you, Rob Roma, the tight end there, 6'1", 225 pounds.
And that was a situation where the secondary was caught biting. And the first down brings the ball down to the 21-yard line.
And Corio makes the tackle once again.
And let's see if this East Brunswick defense can rise to the occasion once again. They've been excellent so far. Brownlee back to pass, being pursued. Lofts one downfield and intercepted by Merrigan.
I'll tell you, on the 1-yard line.
This time Merrigan did the job. You know, Phil, that the passes by Brownlee have really not have any velocity on it, and I think Merrigan was able to adjust. First of all, he had great field position.
Didn't have any velocity on it because Michael McManus, number 52, once again is
pursuing
in on Bob Brownlee, forcing him to throw that ball off balance. And you're right, Merrigan is right there on the one.
All right,
intercepted on the 1-yard line.
I had thought that maybe he was able to be tackled in the end zone, but the official marks it in actually at the half-yard mark.
Yeah.
East Brunswick has to be very, very cautious that they don't get tackled behind the line of scrimmage, because that means 2 points.
You might see a little bit of Russ Leota right here.
Okay. Behind that offensive line, which has played well. Oh, there is a fumble. And if it was recovered by East Brunswick, it'll be a safety because it is behind the line of scrimmage. Let's see what they say. Costantino dropped it for just a moment. And look at that. They're going to say that the ball was just beyond.
I'll tell you, fortunate for the East Brunswick, no matter how you look at it, Jim.
I tell you what, I had the field glasses on that, and that ball is just about touching me.
No matter how you look at it.
Meanwhile, the clock continues to run.
I think you got Edison about to call a timeout here.
You would think they haven't called one yet, have they?
And they don't. And if you're the Bears, you want some breathing room here, Jim.
Well, gotta think that Costantino's going to do a sneak here, just to maintain the clock running. No, he gives. He keeps it himself. Gets out of the end zone. Thankfully.
I'll tell you, picks up about 4 yards, Jim.
And that was a big 4-yard gain. Now Edison does call timeout with 43 seconds left to go, but wow, Phil, I don't know about that play.
You're right, Jim. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and Costantino took a step out and then went around the end there. Fortunately, avoided a tackle and picked up 4 yards.
Well, give credit to that East Brunswick offensive line. They've been doing a good job this afternoon, really keeping Edison out of the backfield, which has been a problem the first 2 games.
And I tell you, take a good look at Marcus Borden walking out, talking to his troops right now. And I tell you, for all the talk about the Bears getting beaten up on and has Marcus lost his touch and whatnot, the people got to deal with some of the simple facts and whatnot. East Brunswick is a soccer community and has been for a long time now. And you look out on the soccer field and you see some of the players bigger than the players that you have on the football field. Marcus Borden has done a good job with the number of kids and the material that has come out there, Jim. He's just had a rough going early on, but as far as making adjustments, you're seeing it here today. He's excellent at it.
I agree with you that Marcus Borden has done as well as he possibly can with with the kids that he has. Is East Brunswick a total soccer community? I'm not quite convinced of that. I think we might disagree a little bit. I think that the size of the East Brunswick school allows a lot of athletes to play football, and I think some just choose not to.
Well, back to the game here.
3rd down for East Brunswick. Ball is on the 4-yard line. 43 seconds left. Again, the give is to Pleasant. No, excuse me.
And there's a loss. Back
to Cosentino.
Back to the 1 again, Jim.
Right, and another timeout with 37 seconds left by Edison.
Hard to figure what that was, Jim.
Thought they had given the ball to Pleasant, but Cosentino kept it.
You wanted some room, and I talked about the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line there.
Yeah.
To go back when you got some breathing room right there and is not exactly what one had in mind, but another timeout. And once again, you see Marcus Borden going out on the field to talk to his troops here.
Well, we have noted that East Brunswick has had some difficulty with executing the punts, especially when there's a lot of pressure, and this is going to be a pressure situation.
Well, I tell you, you got to wonder whether 37 seconds, whether the Edison Eagles will be blowing in here, or will they be just taking it for a quick field position and letting Brownlee finally crank up his arm like we hear he can do.
Okay. Borden leaves the field. That will be Shull, and he has to be concerned about touching that end line. Number 60 for East Brunswick, Corsal is the snapper. Shull gets away a gorgeous kick.
Whew.
So long that he might even outrun his coverage. And Hurley is there to tackle. We got a flag. That has to be a defensive foul, you would think. So a job well done by the special teams.
I'll tell you, Shull to get nice punt to get it off there. Nice return by Hawthorne.
That was a gorgeous punt. That ball's traveled some 50 yards in the air.
And the Eagles are going to be pushed back some, Jim.
So unless we see some aerial heroics by Edison.
Well, you got to believe Bob Brownlee is, again, one of the premier pitchers for the GMC. Edison, always a good baseball team. Matter of fact, Brownlee roomed with Brian Cosentino at the Rutgers shootout camp there. So the kid can throw. He just, they have a running attack, and he hasn't needed to do it much this year, but I think you can expect to see him.
Well, in all honesty, Phil, I haven't seen a lot of zip on the ball when he has thrown.
He's had pressure on him.
Okay. Brownlee, number 12, is the quarterback, and he will certainly try to air it out here, I would imagine. Drops back. Here comes East Brunswick. And that time it is caught by number 80, Warner, tackled immediately by Petty.
Okay, that's
and looks all right. It doesn't look like there's any timeouts left.
Sean Warner with the reception and Petty with the tackle, and here come. And he grounds it.
Brownlee grounds it, and it looks like they're going to have
7
one
seconds.
shot.
7 seconds left, Jim, and you got to throw it to the end zone. You got to throw it to the end zone.
Sure.
Well, we say that. It seems like the natural thing, but if you got somebody, everybody may be looking for that, you may decide to throw it somewhat underneath and let somebody speedy see if they can take it all the way.
Phil, I'm thinking back to 3 seasons ago when East Brunswick, Saraville was here.
Okay.
And East Brunswick seemingly had a victory, and then on a 4th down situation, just about this part of the field, they gave the ball on a run right up the middle for a touchdown. Do you recall that?
I remember all too well.
Yep. You never do know. Brownlee drops back. Mineta pursuing him, as does number 36, who is going to get him.
I'll tell you, an excellent job there by
Aranowitz.
Matt Aranowitz putting the pressure on, and I think he's run out the half there,
Yes,
Jim.
he has. Boy, I'll tell you what. Well, let's see. They're still talking about it here now. Ineligible receiver downfield. That, of course, will be refused.
Got to be in the half.
So that'll do it at halftime. East Brunswick with a, I would say, surprising 7-0 lead, Phil.
I think if you poll the county right now, and I think they'd be very, very surprised as well. I tell you, the people who aren't surprised is, again, Marcus Borden. As I said, I spoke to some of the kids who said they had an excellent week of practice, and they were feeling pretty good about this game here. What they've done is they've come out with the exception of a few turnovers and whatnot, which they got to cut down on. They've controlled the ball offensively, and defensively, there's been some hitting. That's been the big difference there. There's been tackling on special teams and good tackling on defense, and that's made the big difference.
Okay, and as you see, the East Brunswick team, well, the East Brunswick team is filing off the field. Not too excited quite yet, but believe me, when this game concludes, and if they do win, that'll really just make the team feel so much good. But we have another half to play, so we're going to take a break right here, and we will be back with the second half action in just a moment.
High School Marching Band, led by Mr. John Kish.
Okay, we are back at J. Doyle Field here in East Brunswick. I'm Jimmy Allinder, being joined by Phil Hill, where East Brunswick leads 7-0. And Phil, you have to be impressed with that first half by East Brunswick. The offense got the score in, which it needed to, but more impressively, the East Brunswick defense. There's a couple of changes, I guess, that are a little bit different. They're doing things a little bit different.
Defensively, they're hitting, Jim. As I said before,
Right.
Tackling better. Marcus put a couple sophomores in there. Corio is in there, and Andrew Batwash is in there as well. But the whole defense is playing tough. On offense, a good move. What they did was they brought Gamboa and Mineta in at guard, moved Anthony Alexander back to tackle, and made Begay tight end. And that's a matter of everybody doing whatever they can for the overall benefit of the team, and
Right.
it's paid off anyway this half there. They look like a vastly different team, Jim.
Well, East Brunswick, having received to open the game, will kick off this time. That will, of course, be Ianazo, who has done a really good job.
And again, you want to watch out for Michael Johnson. And remember, against Perth Amboy last week, 85 yards with the opening kickoff for a touchdown. So the Jesse James gang special teams got to be very particular about if the young man should get his hands on the ball.
And Johnson is joined by Will Hawthorne, number 15. Again, there's just so many different names that we're calling out for Edison. Ianazo lines it up. And we are about to begin the second half. There we go.
And a good
long kick gathered in by Hawthorne at the 5. Takes it right up the middle. But it's
what a great tackle.
real excellent tackle there by number 34.
What a tackle.
Who was that? Number 34, John Mullane.
John Mullane, I tell you,
nice tackle.
another super sophomore coming in there. And what Marcus is doing, he's starting to put a number of the younger players in that show that they can play. And John Mullane, I talked about him before, just a super kid coming up with a super tackle at the opening of the second half there. Wow.
And that tackle made on the 15 or 16-yard line finds Edison once again with a lot of territory to make up. Bob Brownlee, who wasn't all that successful in the first half, will continue at quarterback. He gives it up the pipe, and good running room here by number 23, who fumbles.
Oh, and a big break for the Bears.
And that ball, first of all, the tackle was made by Brian Merrigan, and then he comes up with the football. It doesn't get any better than that.
It doesn't get any better than that. Brian Merrigan, as you point out, Jim, in on the tackle, stripping the carrier, then coming up with the turnover as well.
And that fumble occurs on the 26-yard line. East Brunswick with great field position to begin the second half.
And I tell you, the young back had picked up some good yards before fumbling, too.
All righty. Ball on the 26 for East Brunswick. They lead 7-0. We are underway here in the second half. Edison is 2-0 coming into this game. East Brunswick, of course, is 0-2. And Ryan Costantino will call signals at quarterback. Gives the ball. No, yes, he does. To Leota, who drags a gang of tacklers forward.
I like Russ Leota's heart, Jim. I talked about it before. Only 160 pounds, carrying 3 tacklers.
He absolutely refused to go down. And when the whistle finally blew, it was 6-yard gain. Or 5, let's call it 5. But still, a nice gain there. Making it 2nd and 5 for East Brunswick. East Brunswick very deliberate.
Okay, you got Merrigan and Petty spread right, Jim.
I see that. Pleasant and Hurley are the deep backs for East Brunswick. Costantino keeps it, cuts inside, gets fairly good gain, about 2-3 yards.
And I tell you, Mike Allen in on the tackle there. Mike Allen's been in on a lot of tackles there. 5'8", 195-pound junior linebacker for the Eagles.
A gain of 2 makes it 3rd and 3 official calls timeout for a second. What do we have here? Costantino.
Equipment timeout.
Right.
And Costantino down, getting his equipment adjusted. As I mentioned, both Costantino and Bob Brownlee were roommates at the Rutgers quarterback camp, and they know each other very well. Both excellent pitchers on the baseball team as well.
Okay, ball rests on just inside the 20-yard line for the Bears. And East Brunswick needs a first down to keep this drive alive. Costantino looks like he's going to pass. He is being pursued, throws a long pass.
Mercy.
Merrigan jumped up
tell you,
over top of number 15. That was Hawthorne.
Hawthorne with a great defensive play there. Merrigan going up for the ball as well. Costantino rolling out to the left and throwing a bullet down there. Just a beautiful pass again. But a fine defensive effort by the Eagle defender, Hawthorne.
And actually, with that play by Merrigan, he almost made a great defensive play when you think about it. So that'll make it fourth down for East Brunswick. They need 3 to 4 yards to get a first down, and that's the immediate objective, to try to keep this drive alive.
Fourth down, they're going for it.
Costantino, pitch out to Hurley, who looks like he's going to throw it. He has somebody open. Petty, and wow. Well, Edison bit on it, and Hurley found himself open, with a wide open Adam Petty.
I'll tell you, shouldn't be so surprised, Jim. You might remember Chris Hurley was a backup quarterback at one time and had his opportunity to throw the ball right there. And just, as you're right, Edison bit on it. Hurley got it out there, and Petty pulled it in.
And with that touchdown pass, which covers about 16 yards, East Brunswick now leads 13-0, and going for the extra point is number 82.
That's Chris Yanazo.
Good snap from center. Costantino puts it down, and the kick is up and good.
I'll tell you.
So the score now, East Brunswick 14 and Edison nothing. 9:56 left to go in the third quarter, Phil.
I'll tell you, Yanazo rushed it a little bit, nevertheless still got the ball up and over. But the Bears are looking solid now. Petty, of course, his first receiving touchdown this year.
And I'll tell you what, Phil, the way this defense is playing this afternoon, 14-0 is looking kind of good right at this point.
14-0 is looking sort of good unless Edison goes into a bag of her own bag of tricks. Edison has big play potential, Jim. And we've known from the past that a big play can get you back in the game just like that.
I'll tell you what's encouraging, though, about the Bear defense is that they have put relentless pressure on Brownlee every time it's been an obvious passing situation.
That's for sure.
So you gotta feel good for East Brunswick right now. Yanazo, who was successful on that extra point, will again kick off. The first one was excellent. He backed up Hawthorne all the way to the 5. Let's see what he does here. Another sidewinder gathered in by Johnson. Advances it out to the 20, right through the middle. And Merrigan, they have Yanazo to beat. Unfortunately, Chris is able to provide enough time, so Merrigan makes the tackle.
I'll tell you, we've been talking about Michael Johnson and his potential all day, Jim, and he showed you right there. He has the potential to create the big play, and the Bears fortunate to bring him down there. Excellent field possession for the Eagles.
Advances it all the way down to the 37 of East Brunswick, and that's where they will set up shop. And I have to believe there's a sense of urgency now for the Eagles, trailing 14-0 in the third period. Brownlee, as he has been all afternoon, the quarterback.
In the I formation.
Give is up the middle, nothing.
And I'll tell you, that's Brian Mineta, again, number 62 and on the tackle.
And that was Johnson, the ball carrier, who just ran that kickoff back. He maybe got a half yard. Phil, you think that Edison is going to abandon that middle game there? It has been very unsuccessful.
They've won 2 games with it, and I think they're going to stick with it and pass when they have to, Jim. Too early to abandon their game plan.
Second down is Brownlee looks like he's going to throw. Ball was underthrown.
And I'll tell you, Mr. Brownlee, he's going to see number 52 in his sleep. Once again, Mike McManus blowing in there.
Would you like to have a go at number 25 as far as how to pronounce his name, the intended receiver?
Jim, you know I'm pretty good at this.
Okay.
I can tell you the young fella's name.
All right, fine. It's got about 20 letters in it.
I'll tell you it in a minute.
Just look at the program, number 20.
Here it is. It's Harish Mashar Rahmani.
Okay, there you go. And with that, we're already up to 3rd and 9 for Edison. Ball is on the 37-yard line. Straight drop back.
Oh, and blocked at the line.
Intercepted. Intercepted. Who is that?
That's Zukas.
Number 50, Zukas, and he is going to take it. Go ahead, Phil.
All the way.
All the way.
Oh, mercy.
And look at Brownlee in the middle of the field. He just can't believe what happened. Zukas just had that ball go right into his gut.
And I think, and I could be wrong, Jim, I think it was Mike McManus who put his hands up once again, Jim. Knocked the ball down right into Zukas' hands, and Zukas took it all the way, Jim.
I'm going to call that about a 65 to 67-yard touchdown run.
And that's got to be a thrill for the young man there.
Doug Zukas, who, tell you what, folks, it doesn't get any better than the quality of athlete and student.
Well, it's not Doug Zukas, it's Matt Zukas,
Matt
his
Zukas,
younger brother.
sorry. Nonetheless, okay. But well, just what a tremendous turn of events here for East Brunswick.
I'd like to see the films to see who blocked it. I think it was Mike McManus.
Okay. East Brunswick will set up for the extra point. Yanazo. Cosentino puts it down, and that ball looks true as well.
I'll tell you, another beautiful kick.
Yeah, really. Excellent. And in a shocking fashion, with 8:44 left to go in the third quarter, East Brunswick takes a 21-0 lead.
I'll tell you, just a different team, Jim.
Totally different.
An aggressive team. They're clicking on all cylinders there, and once again, you got to give Marcus Borden a lot of credit to turn a team around from the week they had last week to how they're playing today.
Well, not only offensively, but defensively. And we both agreed that as the defense comes together, the rest of the team would have success, and I think that's what we're seeing here.
That's what we're seeing here. Again, Matt Zukas, and yeah, he's floating right now. He's out on that field, but he's floating right now.
And Edison in a bit of a shock right now, state of shock. Seeing that 2-0 record, getting very little respect from this East Brunswick team.
I want to watch Johnny Mullane on the kickoff again, Jim. He
Okay.
got that tackle last time. I want to watch him down the field, see what happens.
That was Shull that kicked off this time, Phil, and he gets a bouncer that goes. They decide not to kick off to Johnson, and good coverage by East Brunswick. Great tackle there.
I'll tell you, Hurley.
Manetta was the one that finished him off, but Hurley was the one that made the initial stop. And let's all agree that this is a fired-up team right now.
A fired-up team, no doubt about it. They had Scholl in there for the kickoff for that very reason. They didn't want to kick it deep, Jim,
right.
And run the risk of a run back there. They did the squib kick down there, and worked just like they planned.
All right. Corio comes off. And let's see how that rejuvenated defense continues to play.
Hitting is contagious, Jim. Once
Yes,
you start doing it, it gets everybody else up.
Brownlee. And I got to believe that Edison has to start the throw now. So the give is up the middle. And just for a few, really.
Just a host of tacklers there.
I believe that was Johnson, the ball carrier.
53.
He gets 4. We'll call it 2nd and 6. Now Cosentino comes out of the game.
Wickberg and Batwash again in on the tackle.
And I like this idea of giving some of the offensive players a little bit of a rest, especially Cosentino, the quarterback, who has looked very solid this afternoon.
Very, very solid.
Little shifting going on by the East Brunswick D.
Petty takes the man in motion.
Brownlee, ball given to number 44, who has some good room here.
Got some room. He got a block outside here.
And steps out of bounds on about the 37-yard.
American doing a good job rolling off a block to force the runner out of bounds, and that's number 44 for the Bears. That's Mike Allen with a fine run there. And Mike got a good block downfield. Once again, Brian American rolling off that block to force him out of bounds.
So a badly needed first down for Edison. Gives them the ball at the 46-yard line, we'll say. A first down. And Edison needs to put points on the board, and they need to do it quick. There's 7:46 left to go in the third quarter. Brownlee, good penetration by Mineta. He just plain out beat his man.
I'll tell you. That's McManus.
Excuse me, McManus.
Mike McManus has played a whale of a game today.
Okay, yes
I'll
he
tell
has.
you, he's been the defensive leader there, no doubt about it.
I think the entire defense has played well, but you're right, number 52, McManus, has just been beating his man all afternoon. And that loss makes it 2nd and 12 for the Eagles. Brownlee is going to keep it. He's being pursued again. Gets drilled. And
I'll tell you,
he was drilled on that play.
Brownlee is down, and again, Zukas hits him, and Mineta hits him. And give Scholl some credit for being out there defensively. Didn't quite get a hand on the ball, but sort of gotten away of the would-be receiver there.
Well, Brownlee doubled over a little bit. I think he might have lost his wind.
Starting to take a pounding now, Jim, no doubt about it. The Bears.
Well, he's wearing a flak jacket, it looks like, Phil, to protect his ribs.
I'll tell you, the Bears have been as aggressive as we've seen them in some time now, Jim.
Okay. Incomplete pass makes it 3rd down and 12. Obvious passing situation here for the Eagles.
2 receivers split to the left for the Eagles.
East Brunswick will be coming, and they are. Here comes number 37, the quarterback drilled again. And good coverage by Merrigan. They say interference. I don't see it, Phil.
Oh, wow. I didn't see it either.
I thought that was excellent coverage by Merrigan.
I'll tell you, Adam Batwash laid out Brownlee. Brownlee's getting up very slowly. Adam Batwash, the sophomore, blowing in there, and along with Wickberg.
Well, they're going to mark off 15 yards here and give Edison a first down.
I'll tell you, Jim.
But I don't see. Honestly, I thought Merrigan did an excellent job. It was an obvious passing situation, so he really wasn't beaten on the play.
Again, Wickberg and Batwash in on the tackle on Brownlee, shook him up. But again, you saw the penalty there, interference, and it will be a first down for the Eagles.
I got to tell you, I feel sorry for Bob Brownlee. He is. These last 2 plays, he was drilled.
He was drilled.
And you got to think it's going to still be happening. East Brunswick coming ever so close to sacking Brownlee. And their ears are pinned now, the defensive lineman. Brownlee, that's a busted play. And he's the recipient of another hit.
I'll tell you.
Look at he's down and out now.
I'll tell you, Matarano, he runs into a long.
And that looks like, well, they get him up, but I'll tell you what, I wonder if he knows where he is.
He's taking quite a beat.
3 shots in a row. And let's see, they don't do anything.
Tom Gargiulo started out on the field, Jim, and then he walked back. Of course, Brownlee seemed to be okay.
I can't believe it. Well, with that busted play, it was a loss of 3, well, we'll say 2 yards, making it 2nd and 12. And while Edison is advancing the ball, I'm telling you what, they're taking a pounding along the way. Brownlee gives it off to number 23, who has some room. Johnson, and tackled just about at the 2. Well, that was the recipe Edison needed, to just not even throw the ball, just hand it right off. And East Brunswick on that side was caught.
And down at the
well, they say the 3-yard line.
Petty in on the tackle. And Scholl, I believe. It's a matter of time before Johnson breaks loose, and you saw it there. They don't have Mike Allen in there right now, Jim. I'm surprised, the big bruising fullback.
Okay. Brownlee. Edison 1st and goal at the 4. Gives it off to Johnson. He plunges down to about the 1. Good yardage there in a tough situation. Clock shows 5 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. Third period, East Brunswick with a very surprising 21-0 lead. If you just joined us, East Brunswick scored in the first period. Hurley, an 8-yard run. Hurley again throwing 16 yards on an option to Petty for a second touchdown, and then Zukas, 65-yard return of an interception that making it 21-0. But Edison is threatening. And a quarterback sneak by Brownlee, and he's in.
It's a touchdown.
And you know what? He earned that opportunity.
No doubt about it. Bob Brownlee, the 6'1", 185-pound captain of the Eagles, does a quarterback sneak for the touchdown. And you're right, Jim. With the pounding that he's taken, he deserved to run that one in there.
So with that touchdown, the East Brunswick lead is narrowed to 21-6. This is the try for extra point. Now, you noted that the kicker, the regular kicker, was not there. So 74
Eddie Bachorek
puts it through.
Eddie Bachorek puts it through.
And so now the score is East Brunswick 21, Edison 7. And let's see if that drive by the Eagles rejuvenates them. It's been
one of those games there,
yeah.
But the Eagles have shown some resiliency themselves and bounced back, Jim.
Well,
they have the big play potential, as I pointed out before. So if you're the Bears, you certainly don't want to relax.
And that's the key to this game. Having somebody with the capability of Johnson always makes Edison just one play away from scoring. So the gentleman who just kicked the extra point, Ed Pachurek, will kick off for the Eagles. Petty will be the deep back.
Is that Alexander there?
Alexander is also with him.
That's a little strange.
Yeah, it is. Usually Anthony is upfield a little bit, but they decide to put him in. Well, let's see. Is Merrigan okay? Is he in there? Yes, he is.
Merrigan's in there.
So
Petty's in there.
So you have triple backs, and it's an onside kick.
Oh.
And let's see who has it. Edison does recover.
I'll tell you, Edison clearly fooled everyone, Jim. No one expecting the onside kick, Jim, at this juncture of the game.
Right.
They kicked it and recovered it.
Executed very nicely by the Eagles.
40-yard line, unbelievable.
All right, so the East Brunswick defense, which really was tested the last time, will have to come up now.
I'll tell you, Tom Gargiulo, give him some credit there, caught everyone off guard.
The officials huddled together for a moment, not quite sure why.
I think they wouldn't risk giving up the field position at this juncture here, Jim, but
yeah,
they're going for it all.
Okay. Brownlee, who has been harassed all day by East Brunswick's defense, gives it off to Johnson. We have a flag on the play.
And Johnson's still up.
Another flag. 2 flags on that play.
We have a player down for the Bears.
Who is that?
That looks like Wickberg, I believe.
Okay, now we have a 3rd flag. 3 separate penalties on that play. Let's have to take a while to sort this out.
When one comes in that late, it's an unsportsmanlike.
Correct. So this is going to take a couple minutes for the officials to
Wickberg
talk
coming
about
to
it.
the side, so he appears to be all right.
No, I'm wondering if he's the culprit that caused that 3rd flag, either by saying something. We'll try to interpret here. Holding Edison. That was the 1st flag. The 2nd flag was face mask.
Offsetting penalties.
And then you got a personal foul on the part of Edison.
So,
and that will carry.
And they'll march Edison back.
And at this juncture, Phil, you got to think that's a very costly penalty.
For Edison, no doubt about it.
Well, whatever was said was directed toward Wickberg.
Wickberg had got hurt on the play. I don't imagine a player, while he was down, said something, which it could have been an unsportsmanlike.
Right. And with that penalty, now Edison is marching all the way back to the, well, is that a 10-yard penalty?
10 yards, Jim.
Okay. So no loss of down on that play, apparently. Brownlee will throw. He's being pursued. Lofts a nice pass to,
wide open.
to number 34, who has a lot of room, and
oh, wow.
avoids another tackle. Cosentino finally takes him down, and that was an excellent sequence for Edison.
I'll tell you, Joe Margaritondo. Joe Margaritondo, a 5'8", 170-pound sophomore, coming out of the backfield, taking that little swing pass and picking up good yardage.
And all of a sudden, Edison is knocking on the door once more. Ball is on the 11-yard line. First down for the Eagles. And the clock continues to run.
And I tell you, that
still 4 minutes left to go.
Kick put the defense back out on the field unexpectedly again, Jim. You got to wonder if they can hold up.
Brownlee pitches to number 22, who has some room, but they close on him. Good coverage by East Brunswick's defense that time.
Kevin Scholl coming up very nicely.
Right.
Make the tackle.
And Hurley was the one that was out there at first. And no gain on the play. As a matter of fact, a little bit of a loss.
And that was Andre Stanislaw on the carry there.
Phil, I would look to see Johnson, number 23, if he is in there.
And he's not.
He's
Jim.
not.
I'll tell you, strange.
That is strange.
You got Mike Allen and in there, and Monroe Felton in the backfield.
Brownlee gives it to number 44.
Allen, and he's
gets away from one tackle. We have a flag on the play. Now we have a couple of them. Let's see what the call is. This is an important flag.
Okay, McManus didn't wrap that time. Allen, a strong-legged fullback, broke loose.
Legal procedure is the call.
Against Edison.
Whoa, very inopportune penalty. No, wait a minute. They call the face mask against East Brunswick again.
And offsetting once again.
Wow.
I'll tell you, that's very strange to have face mask calls within 3 plays, Jim.
So with those offsetting penalties, no yards, and we'll go back to second down. Just about 10 yards to go for the Eagles. The score is 21-7, East Brunswick.
Johnson is in the backfield now, Jim.
Brownlee is going to pass. There's that screen.
Johnson.
Caught, but good coverage by number 24 there.
I'll tell you, excellent coverage there.
By Begay.
And Begay staying home. That's what you call staying home, Jim. There was the middle screen there to Johnson. Begay, middle guard right there, nose tackle. Stayed home and made the tackle.
Bit of a strange call, a screen play on the 10-yard line, huh? Third, and we will call it 9 yards to go. Brownlee, good, broken up very nicely by number 27, Scholl.
Kevin Scholl once again doing a fine job. And Kevin Scholl has played a good game, Jim, all game here. Defensively, has played an excellent game.
That pass was intended for Manchamarmi, or whatever. And
Irish.
Okay. And so now, fourth down for the Eagles. Can't tell you how big this play is.
Okay, they're known to go to the tight end here. We watch Bob Roma right here.
Okay.
Jim, number 84.
If he's there. Okay, I see him. He's on the left side, top of your screen. Brownlee, and you're right, Phil. He's looking toward him. Pass is caught. However,
no first, Jim.
No first down. They needed to get down to the 1-yard line, and East Brunswick has held. Brownlee is down again.
A nice job by the Bears there. Bend but don't break. It is truly important for them to keep the Eagles out of the end zone.
Absolutely.
Right here, Jim.
Well,
and they did it.
They're not out of the woods yet because they have the ball deep in their own territory.
They got to control it, Jim, and eat up some yardage and get some breathing room.
Right. You see that there is just 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter, and the clock stops on that change of possession. Now, what's going on here? Okay, the East Brunswick is taking its time. A little bit of confusion.
Anytime they spread them like that to one side, they're going to do a run up the middle, Jim.
Okay. Timeout by Cosentino.
Yeah.
I think there was just a little bit too much confusion. I think Cosentino recognized that they were losing time as well.
Yeah.
So timeout on the field. East Brunswick ahead 21-7, having just staved off a serious Edison threat there. And Phil, I don't know.
Well, you see,
You'd be conservative here, I guess, huh?
well, no, you'd be smart. That's all. You want to control the ball. You want to take whatever they're given and whatnot. You got to get some breathing room, Jim. You know, you're playing with your end zone right at your back there, so you got to get some room out there. I thought they would come out in the E-bone and just simply do some running there. They came out, spread 2 receivers wide left there, and I still thought they would run up the middle off there.
You know what really makes this a nice football game today is that even though East Brunswick has a 21-7 lead, you always get the sense that Edison is really able to, you know, to come back. They really have been effective, much more so in the second half.
They have some big playmakers, no doubt about it. They don't have the playmakers that J.P. Stevens had last week. I mean, which is as much speed as I've seen on a field in a long time. But they have some playmakers themselves, and they're still in the game. You're right.
Okay, East Brunswick will try once more. They have a first down on their own 4-yard line. That's basically the same situation that they had when they called timeout, so they just want to get it right. Costantino and Leota takes a tough hit.
Again, they spread them wide left and then run up the middle. I don't think they really fooled anybody on it, Jim.
And he is a little bit slow getting up. As tough as Leota is, he really took a shot there. No gain on the play.
And Leota's hurting. I think they got to get him out of there, Jim.
Really?
But he stays. Kevin Shull comes in the game.
Well, actually a loss on that play, so the ball is now on the 3-yard line. East Brunswick very deliberate.
Okay, I think you're going to see a little Pleasant hit. Delay of game?
That's what they're going to call. Well, there was a lot of conversation going on in the huddle. Fortunately for East Brunswick, it wasn't a 5-yard penalty.
It may be about the wind, Jim. It may be they want to kick with the wind and want to switch to the other side of the end zone in order to go with what they perceive to be the wind. I don't see that there's much out there.
That is quite possible, and if anything, it would force Edison to use one of its timeouts by taking as much time. Costantino keeps it himself.
Oh,
he's got some room. Gets around one tackle. Woo! Finally brought down.
I'll tell you, mercy, and Mike Allen catches him from behind. But Costantino picking up a very big first down there. And I'll tell you, Jim, that's a run about 25 yards at least.
25 yards? They were on the 3-yard line, Phil. They're all the way up to the 40.
My math, okay.
Okay. Ball's up to the 38-yard line that's called, so 35-yard run.
Okay, 35-yard run by Costantino.
An important first down for East Brunswick. Keeps possession, 30 seconds left to go in the quarter, as well as gets out of deep trouble. That really hurt Edison. Costantino gives the slant to Pleasant. Nobody sees him.
He's still up. And another first down for the Bears. A fine run by Brad Pleasant, the junior.
Okay, that gives East Brunswick possession. Another first down on the 48-yard line. And 16 seconds, is that? Okay, 16 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Good plunge ahead by Pleasant.
By Pleasant in that tackle there.
Stopped by number 70,
James Luongo on the tackle. And this quarter's about done, Jim.
Okay, so with 12 minutes left to go in this game as we go into the fourth quarter, East Brunswick in a very unusual situation, leading the game 21-7.
I think they got the fourth quarter. You see them putting their fingers up our quarter, but they got to feel pretty good, Jim. But you're right, they can't be too cautious there. I think they got to go back to where they started, controlling the ball offensively and just playing a normal game there. That's all, eating up some clock in the process.
You know, in order to become a winner, you got to learn how to win. And East Brunswick is going to have a good test today. They're going to learn how to win this football game. And look at Borden now, as animated as usual.
Well, he wants. It's the time the guys got to know who's in there. And Mr. Begay didn't realize he was supposed to be in at this juncture.
You're right in that respect. The kids have to know.
They have to know, right?
What their responsibilities are.
Not only that, you can cost your team penalties and at crucial times and stuff. You got to be prepared to know when you're supposed to be in there. Of course, Begay has been on both sides of the ball, so.
I'm seeing number 53 attended to on the sideline,
That's
Wickberg.
Wickberg, yeah. Wickberg got hurt earlier.
Right.
When that big penalty was called against Edison, unsportsmanlike, and it seems to be the forearm or something.
Yeah, he's sort of flexing that elbow, actually. That's what's wrapped. Being attended to by our trainer, Phil Hostler. So, 2nd and 9 for East Brunswick. Ball is on the Edison 47-yard line. We're about ready to begin this fourth quarter. And East Brunswick with a 21-7 lead. Costantino, a quarterback. Give is to Hurley up the middle. Good gain on that play.
Good gain, 3 yards by Chris Hurley. And the Bears are mixing it up now, Jim, giving it to different backs. Leota one time, Pleasant another time, and they come with Hurley right here.
Phil, you know East Brunswick wants to keep the clock moving, so you think they're going to keep it on the ground, but yet this third down is 5 yards to go. You see a pass here?
They certainly could do it here, but you might see Costantino keep it.
Okay. Costantino keeps it himself. You're right. And lunges forward. I think he got enough for the first down. I think we're going to have a measurement on this. Let's see where they mark.
I'll tell you, it's awfully close.
It is close. But I think he's
first
got
down.
it. Yes, officials agree. First down once again for East Brunswick. And now the Bears will, of course, be more deliberate.
They're going to go into that bone package right here, Jim.
You know, Phil, we saw coach for Saraville, George Najjar, watching this
Very
game.
Very intently.
East Brunswick will be playing Saraville this Thursday night over at Saraville. He's got something to think about.
Well, he's got more to think about than when he came here, that's for sure.
Hurley up the middle and gets some fairly good yardage on that play.
Some good yardage and a nice tackle by Joe Margiatano.
Solid 5-yard gain on that play. And Edison now looks to be wilting somewhat.
Well, the Bears look to be doing what they want to do right now. Taking their time, coming out of the huddle, eating up some clock with the bone package. Once again in the E-bone, Jim.
Costantino. Quick give to Hurley, Leota.
Leota.
Yeah. And he's close to first down yardage.
Close to first.
I think he's got it.
I'll tell you, Russ Leota picks up that first down, Jim. And again, once again, mixing up very nicely, using different backs, and they're looking rather relaxed out there, looking like they're in control.
Relaxed and confident. Okay. That E-bone offense. Costantino gives to Pleasant, the second back, through. This time, they're going to catch him for nothing.
I'll tell you. Fine tackle by Johnson, and number 52 for the Eagles, and that's Chris Uhas.
Pleasant is caught for no gain on the play. Second and 10. Now the clock definitely a factor. It's under 9 minutes to go in the game. East Brunswick up by 2 touchdowns, 21-7. Costantino keeps it himself, Flag on the play.
Oh, mercy.
He wriggles his way through.
I'll tell you, fine running by Costantino.
This might be for naught, though.
I believe so. I believe it's got to come back, Jim. But good run by Ryan.
Legal procedure will be the call. Well, you can't say enough about Costantino's athletic ability. You know, we know what he can do as a passer, but he has been absolutely outstanding running the ball, executing this offense today.
Well, he's an athlete. That's the bottom line. A friend of mine, Kevin Burke, says Ryan Costantino will probably be the best baseball player to come out of here in some while. And when you consider the type of baseball players we've had, particularly this past year, to say that is saying a whole lot. And Kevin doesn't give a whole lot of credit easily, but he says Ryan Costantino will probably be one of the best baseball players to ever come out of here. So he's an athlete.
Okay, so the ball with that penalty goes back to the 30-yard line, where it will be 2nd and 15 for East Brunswick. Costantino passes.
Oh!
Begay almost had it. The ball was tipped.
Little dangerous there. Tipped off Begay's hands, and number 34 for the Panthers, Joe Margitano, was right there and could have picked it up. Fortunately, he didn't for the Bears.
And that incomplete pass will make it 3rd and 15.
And it was a good call because it was a mix-up there. They were running it, and then all of a sudden they wanted to tight end very quickly there, just thrown behind Begay and bounced off his hands. And you might look for Merrigan right here. We haven't heard a whole lot from him offensively today, so you might see Brian Merrigan right here.
Okay, Costantino in a passing situation. Drops back. Was going to throw, now he elects to run it. Being surrounded by a number of tacklers, and advance the ball to the 23-yard line. If it's a field goal attempt, it'll be a long one.
I'll tell you, good hard running by Ryan once again. He pumped and looked in American's way, but the defenders were coming in. We have a couple Edison Eagles defenders getting up slowly.
Well, it's about a 4th and 7, so you figure the Bears are just going to just go for it.
Okay, Joe Batista, one of them going off the field. He seems to be all right, though.
Right. Costantino taking his time. Clock starts. He knows he calls a timeout now. You know, Phil, see, with that situation, I would have waited. If you're going to call timeout, wait about 20 seconds and then call the timeout.
I hear what you're saying. Nevertheless, he's his first year, really.
Well, I don't think
out there.
Watching the clock is something that that's paramount in the kids' minds. But sometimes the coaches can be a little bit helpful in those situations. Nonetheless, with this timeout, East Brunswick will talk things over. A 4th down on the 23-yard line. 6 to 7 yards to go, and East Brunswick, as we can see, is not going to go for a field goal attempt.
Not at all.
It'll be a long one of probably about 40 yards.
And Borden, you asked about Borden and his being around here. He's going to be around here. Marcus Borden is the winningest coach in East Brunswick's history. He has an 83-52-1 record up until this point in time, Jim. Only Ron Gonier has a better percentage, 627 winning percentage. That was from 1963 to 1967. But Borden's an institution around here.
Has been here since 1983. Still really wants that GMC, that Central Jersey Group 4
no
title.
doubt about it.
That's what he wants the most, I know. Okay, Costantino pumps once.
Merrigan.
Throws to American, and the pass was
down.
just, I think the wind had effect. We have a flag on the play, but that wind is starting to kick up a little bit, and I think that was just, floating enough.
Just floating. Yeah, there's Ryan, as good as he is, there's times he's going to know to put that ball on a rope, and there's times he's going to be when he's going to lay it up there, and he's going to figure that out before the season is over, Jim.
All right, that incomplete the penalty was against East Brunswick, and with that 4th down not being successful, Edison will take over on its own 23-yard line. They do trail 21-7. There is 7:39 left to go in the contest, so they need to score fairly quickly and then execute another onside kick.
Brownlee
Drops back, being pursued by
Oh.
McManus. Almost had him. Now he elects to run with the ball. Closing in on him. Okay, I was waiting for a flag to be thrown there.
Now,
I thought he was being hit out of bounds.
Close to the sidelines, but I guess it appeared to be in. The
Okay.
Bears missed several tackles there, Jim.
Right.
You're right, McManus in once again. But even after Brownlee broke loose, several tackles missed there. The first time today that we've seen that. So.
And a nice run by the junior quarterback who advances the ball up to the
And
33.
what he did, he had Sean Warner come in motion, Jim, and at the same side as Marsha Romani. And I thought he was going to throw back that side, except he had the pressure on. He had to end up running. Let's see if they do the same thing again. Let's watch Warner and see if he goes in motion again, the same side as Harish Marsha Romani.
McManus has been coming back all game. He's been in there. And they got Johnson that time, number 37, the tackler.
Okay, Wickberg and Batwash again.
Right.
They've been teaming up all day.
Phil,
Tackles.
I have to tell you, trying that middle with down by 2 touchdowns and 7 minutes to go, I just don't see it.
Well, they're hoping to pop something, and maybe from scouting East Brunswick, the previous 2 teams have had pretty good success going up that middle, and they feel that they would try to continue that themselves.
2nd and 9. Well, let's call it 10 for Edison. Brownlee will drop back to pass. He floats one out to number 34 and almost intercepted.
I tell you.
Pass was intended for Mark Gigatondo.
And I tell you, Tom Corio was right there. Could have picked it off, almost picked it off.
Phil, I got to tell you, I would not want to be the public address announcer for Edison.
With some of the names, no doubt about it.
We got a bunch of them here.
This one name has, I'll tell you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 letters in it, Jim. And
the incomplete pass makes it 3rd and 10. Ball is on the 35 of Edison. They need a first down. They need 2 touchdowns.
Okay, Marsha Romani and Warner spread to right.
Almost sacked.
A one-hand catch by
Pass was
Warner.
grabbed in by Warner, but again, good coverage by Petty. Limits that to a 5-yard gain. Edison's going to have a 4th down now. That play had the makings of something bigger.
Well, Warner made a nice catch there, but again, Petty, you're right, was right there. If Warner could have kept his balance and turned the corner, it might have made a difference. But here you go, Jim. And the Bears may be blowing in. It might be a time to just run it up the middle here, Jim.
Well, we'll
Try
see
to
what
get that first down.
6 minutes left to go in the game. 4th down for Edison. They need this to keep the drive alive. And Johnson pulls his way, but
He doesn't
I don't
get
think.
it.
Well, let's see now.
He doesn't get it, Jim. Let's see where the mark is.
It really depends on where they mark this ball. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's close.
Let's see. Let's see the mark.
He's short.
I think by a fraction, Jim.
He's short by about a football. We happen to be in the position
Jim,
where our sideline.
He's much closer than a football, Jim. I'll tell you that.
Okay, well.
They're blocking it right now.
Our view is being partially blocked by East Brunswick, but
he's short by an inch, Jim.
Well,
yes.
East Brunswick has held, which is the most important thing. And another fine job by that defense, which has been doing excellent all afternoon. So, with the East Brunswick defense holding.
And what we talked about at the top of the show, Jim, was ball control, and that's what the Bears want to do right now. Control that ball, hold on to that ball.
And you're right about that. So we're not going to expect anything fancy from Costantino. The traditional E-bone, wishbone, where Pleasant gets it, and there's a flag on the play. That looks to be from a holding penalty from the way that flag was thrown. Stops the clock.
And you're right, Jim.
Holding penalty it is, and that's going to march East Brunswick back. Well, no penalty is good, but I'll tell you what, East Brunswick really doesn't want to give Edison any light whatsoever to try to come back.
Now it makes it a little more difficult for them to control that ball, Jim.
Clock will start now. 5:35 left to go.
They got a 1st and 20, Jim. American Petty spread right.
Leota, the lone setback.
Fumble.
Fumbled by Cosentino. Another flag. Boy, I'll tell you what.
Bears getting a little sloppy at this point.
They are. And that flag was thrown in the defensive backfield. So
I think it might have been a marker, Jim, for the ball.
all righty.
Yeah, I don't think it was a flag, just
Okay.
a marker. Well, let's see.
Well, let's see what the official's talking. Let's see what we got here. You're right, though, Phil. There's no flag on the play. Another loss of about a yard makes it 2nd down, 21. Bears want to be very deliberate. And Crail and Cosentino. Is it Crail that's in there at center? Yes. They really want to execute that center snap nicely. Cosentino's going to throw. Looks to Merrigan.
I'll tell you.
And
oh, mercy, mercy,
he caught
mercy.
it. Boy, oh boy, what a nice timing pattern.
I tell you, everyone's fooled there, Jim. You got to call it an excellent call at this juncture there. A surprise call. Cosentino going back and hitting Brian Merrigan, his favorite receiver. But that certainly puts the game away, Jim. But a surprise call, and I guess that's the nature of it.
You know,
wow.
It's from our vantage point, it seemed like the Edison defender had it well defended. He was ready for it, but what happened was Cosentino actually threw it further, and it was a matter of Merrigan just running under the ball.
A tiny pattern, running right to it, no doubt about it.
Touchdown coming at 4:21 remaining in the contest, and that salts away this victory. Score is 27-7 with Yanazzo booting it through.
Good job.
28-7 East Brunswick, and I'll tell you what, just an important victory for East Brunswick
It's
today.
an important victory, and again, Jim, if you were to poll the people in the county, I don't think they would have believed that the score would be something like this.
Well, Phil, I wasn't at the J.P. Stevens game like you were last week,
mercy,
but when I saw 41-0 at halftime, final score 62-14, you know, I get these images, you know, that are conjured up of a team that just really just did not believe in itself.
Jim,
it was just a total breakdown. But
62-14 was being kind, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean, Stevens took out their troops and put the JVs in, as did the Bears.
Right.
But they just weren't tackling. Like I said, the biggest thing is that they just weren't tackling, and today has been a totally different day here. They've been aggressive, and they've been executing offensively as well. And this Edison team is not a bad team.
all righty. Well, Chris Yanazzo is kind of liking his role. I'm sorry, Scholl now
He's going to
again.
do the squib. He's going to do the squib kick once again, Jim.
Which is good strategy. Punches it right up the middle. Johnson will still get it. And he has room.
And he's
off to the races. Scholl, fortunately, is able to lasso him down.
I'll tell you, the kicker gets him. Kevin Scholl pulls him down. Petty there as a backup.
Boy.
But again, Mike Johnson, that's how dangerous he is.
It's a tribute to his ability that East Brunswick, even trying to prepare for that, really had a difficult time. So Edison will, with 4 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in the game, down 28-7. We'll try to see if they can get some quick scores.
And I'll tell you, Jim, we'll wait.
I didn't say anything about the crowd. We have a nice crowd here this afternoon at J. Doyle Field.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day.
Right. Brownlee throws it across the middle, caught by number 25. And
Merrigan brings him down.
And if not for that tackle by Merrigan,
Harish Marsharomani
was off to the races. Touchdown saving tackle.
And you're going to see a lot of throwing from here.
Yeah.
Jim.
And that pass showed me what Bob Brownlee can do with a football. He rocketed that pass. Clock is definitely a factor here. Under 4 minutes now, 3:55 and counting. remaining in the game, 28-7 East Brunswick. Brownlee gives it up the middle to Johnson. Oh, boy.
A little hard to figure.
Yeah. And they're still unraveling the pile. McManus, boy, we've called his name all afternoon.
And Batwash.
Outstanding game.
Batwash as well has played a super game. Again, Batwash, the sophomore, you got to be impressed with his play.
Mike McManus, 6'1", 201 pounds, senior.
He gets a game ball, no doubt about it.
Pass intended for
I'll tell you.
Warner, I believe.
I've seen that called interference before, Jim.
Okay.
A good coverage, however, by Petty.
Incomplete pass. 3rd down and 10. Johnson had no gain on that first play. Boy, if you're an Edison fan, you got to be pretty disappointed.
I would think so, Jim. They had to come in thinking they're going to go 3-0, first time in years.
Brownlee will pass it. Gathered in by number 84.
Rob Roma.
Roma.
And he's wrestled down like a steer. Let's see who's that.
That was Cosentino who hit him.
No, you're right. Ryan Cosentino.
And that turns out to be a gain of 2 yards, so it is a 4th down. And it looks like the clock is going to be stopped. Edison is going to call a timeout.
Edison Seagulls, and this first time you see Coach Tom Gargiulo walking out onto the field there, Jim. And Gargiulo's been around. In 2 years, he's been around with the Edison Eagles. And, of course, before that, he coached a number of places. He was an assistant at Stevens from 1970 to 80. He was at Keene College and Uppsala College and St. Peter's College before coming to Edison, back to Edison two years ago. A graduate, 1966 graduate of J.P. Stevens. And he's got to be disappointed. But as you look at the huddle there, Marcus Borden talking to his troops. Again, that's Nick Spadafino actually talking to the defensive troops. And Nick's done a super job getting this team ready for this week.
I'll say.
And he's got to feel good. So
you betcha. A really outstanding defensive coaching job. These players knew exactly what they needed to do, and they performed well. And Phil, as you said at the top of the show, you got to want to tackle, and they really wanted to tackle today.
Want to tackle.
Listen, I was looking at the schedule here. This Thursday night, we mentioned we will be traveling to Sayreville, where our crew will be for that game. Sayreville's been very accommodating in the past, so we'll bring that one to you. And the Bombers bounced back with a 21-0 victory over Bishop Bar last night.
Okay, here comes the Eagles.
4th down. Brownlee throws, and oh
wow!
Boy, Cosentino had it.
I tell you,
bounced out,
and he fumbled it.
No, actually, he was down. They're going to call him down on the 10-yard line. Boy,
I'll tell you, that's a strange one. I'll tell you, a stroke of luck is no doubt about it.
Cosentino had
tipped off, and the Eagles haven't given up, Jim.
Well, they're going to hurry up now. 2:35 left to go in the game. 1st and 10, actually, yeah, 1st and 10 on the 11. Brownlee downs it. Buy some time.
And as Brownlee goes over to Gargiulo, I'd like to send my best out, Jim, to a fine young man, a JV quarterback, Justin Horline, tore cartilage in his knee. I understand he's going to be out anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks or something like that. And we wish Justin, as I said, he's a super kid. We wish him well.
Okay,
Justin Horline.
We see him on the sidelines. Got a nice blue cast. All right, 2nd and 10. Brownlee drops back quickly. He just lofts one to the end zone.
Ooh.
Pass intended for number 25.
I'll tell you,
you know who.
He nonchalant that.
He really did. That's
Harish Marsharami.
Marsharami.
We've chopped his name all night, so we might as well continue. But he looked rather casual there, Jim.
He did.
That's a touchdown if he holds on to it.
Well, Merrigan was out there with him and threw up an arm. You wonder if that was enough to cause Marsharami to miscue that, mistime the catch, whatever. This is a 3rd down. Brownlee looks to Warner, finds him, but again, another drop pass.
I'll tell you, unbelievable.
Really, you can't do anything about that.
Consecutive passes by Brownlee that could have easily been touchdowns, and each time the receiver not able to hold on to him, Jim.
So now Edison is faced with a 4th down. They need to get to the 2-yard line to get a 1st down. I think they're going to try for the end zone.
Now, they've tried all their wide receivers. You might expect them to go to the tight end right here, then, Jim. Somebody's got to catch it. Let's see. Or to get it in the hands of Johnson, who's the most dangerous player.
All right, Warner is out to the left with Petty. Marsharami is in motion. Brownlee looks to that side of the field, finds no one open. Now he looks to the middle
Touchdown.
and finally finds Warner open.
I'll tell you, Warner circled all the way around and came back in. And I'll tell you, Bob Brownlee did a nice job in finding the young fella. That is Sean Warner, 6'3", 175-pound senior, who gets the touchdown.
That touchdown pass covering 10 yards, actually 12 yards, brings the score to 28-13 with the extra point attempt, if they are in fact going to go for an extra point.
Well, they don't have their kicker. They're going for 2, Jim.
Yeah. Somebody's missing. See, this is what happens when you go for 2 points.
And here comes the player that was missing.
24 normally would not be on the extra point team.
Extra point team, you're right. And at 24.
That was Big A. Oh, I'm sorry. That's East Brunswick. Ben Robertson.
Okay. And again, Tom Gargiulo coming out, and again he's got to be disappointed. I'm sure. He respects every game and expected a tough fight, but again, the Bears just coming out being a totally different team.
Well, we want to remind you once again that we will be televising the East Brunswick at Sayreville game Thursday night. I'm not quite sure when that will be telecast. And then the following week, we're back here at J. Doyle Field, where none other than Piscataway comes calling.
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
Chiefs in the house.
And that will be another day game. If you're okay, here we go for the 2-point attempt. Brownlee roams in the back. He's being pursued and tries to throw a pass across the field. Didn't work.
I'll tell you, trying to hit Harish, and didn't go. But again, if you're the Eagles, you like the fact that you late in the game you did come back and score a touchdown, and
a moral victory at best.
Well, the Bears don't seem to be that concerned about it at that juncture, nor should they be. I don't think they've played a super game.
So what we find here is another situation where the Eagles are going to be in an obvious onside kick situation. They were successful after their first touchdown.
And you got to believe Marcus has his all-hands team out there. You see American out there, who's not usually out there up that close. And everybody that's up near that ball has good hands, including Alexander, number 61.
So here we go. Pachurik will onside kick. Ball takes a good high bounce, but Merrigan is there.
Merrigan goes up for it.
Wow.
I'll tell you, an excellent onside kick by Pachurik.
It really was executed so well. That's exactly what you want the ball to do.
Well, I tell you, Merrigan's not lucky. In the pros, you know what they do. They take you out. They take you out before you ever think about getting to the ball, and then they scramble for it. The Edison team did not just take his legs out from under, allowed him to go up for the ball. Good job by American.
Okay, and with that, East Brunswick will take over 1st and 10 on their own 42-yard line. They lead 28-13. 2 minutes and 11 seconds left to go. This would be the first win for the Bears this season. in what has been a disappointing start, but nonetheless, this is going to erase a lot of bad feelings.
And Leota on the carry.
Up the middle, gain of about 3 yards. Edison has already used 2 timeouts. That will be their last one. So we mentioned that East Brunswick will register its first win on the year. And Phil, I tell you what, I know that Saraville is a quality team.
Hey, you know they are.
Well, you know, I'll tell you what.
But they can be beaten, as we
Exactly.
found out.
They were very fortunate to beat JP Stevens. They lost outright to Colonia.
That's right.
And
they won big
they're a
last
different
night.
team. You mentioned they're a different team with Omar Joseph in, but Joseph is hurt, I understand.
Joseph is hurt, and last night he scored 21 points, all the points for all the touchdowns for the Bombers.
Right.
But he's hurting. He re-aggravated that injury there, and of course Lardino,
Joe Lardino,
the super lineman, is out for a while. So they all of a sudden they look human. So anything could happen on a given day.
Exactly. And the way this East Brunswick team executed today, especially their defense, if their defense can contain Saraville's explosiveness.
And that's a job in and of itself.
Okay, and then they will be in that game. And we're going to be very glad to bring that game to you, weather permitting, of course. Cosentino with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left to go. Give is to Leota. Gets good yards.
Once again, Leota is steady as the day is long, and I tell you, holds on to the ball, is going to pick up yardage.
Clock continues to run. It's a 3rd down now with 1 yard to go. East Brunswick only needs 1 yard for a first down, Phil, and could pretty much seal the verdict with a first down here.
And Ryan Cosentino will keep this himself, pick up the first down, and continue the clock running.
Cosentino once again will call signals.
Long count.
Give is to Leota.
That surprised me.
And I don't think he got the yards. It's going to come up a bit short. You see Cosentino point ahead, but I think
call
it's
for
short.
a measurement there.
No, he's a good yard short.
Again, a surprise Ryan didn't keep it himself. I suspect if he falls short this time, he will keep it.
Right. Well, I can't tell you how refreshing it is to telecast a game where East Brunswick is winning. It gets awful difficult to keep it going when things aren't going right for the Bears.
I'll tell you, you got the guys covering the chains there, 2 fathers. Neil Cosentino, of course, the father of Ryan Cosentino, and John Mullane, the father of Johnny Mullane, who you're going to hear from.
Okay.
Take my word.
You've been mentioning that he is an
hear
outstanding
from this kid.
player.
Outstanding kid, outstanding player, and his time's going to come, no doubt about it.
And it is short by about a yard or so, maybe a little less than that. And East Brunswick will, of course, go for it. We're under a minute, 59 seconds left to go. I think Edison is out of timeouts. Cosentino.
And you almost want to say that's what you should have did the first time. But he picks up the first down. And
that'll do it right there.
I think so, James.
We probably have time for maybe one more play. East Brunswick coming up with a 28-13 win here this afternoon at J. Doyle Field. And I don't know, Phil, if you were to pick your players of the game?
McManus certainly has to be one of the players defensively, just all over the place and whatnot. Of course, if you had a smaller ball to give to, I'd give it to Andrew Batwash, who also I thought played a super game defensively. Offensively, Cosentino has to be given some consideration, and just the entire offense. They took the delay of game. They know what they're doing there, Jim. They don't mind being penalized up right here. American, of course, played his regular solid game, and
he has been solid all year.
That's for sure. And just the bevy of backs that they utilize. But you might want to go to that offensive line where they made those changes where we don't see it so clearly. Gamboa and Mineta, who were switched to guards. I think that made a big difference as well.
Well, this will certainly give the Bombers of Saraville a wake-up call. Costantino takes a knee, and that's going to do it. Clock shows 15 seconds. They're going to mark.
And you see
march
Marcus
right
Borden shaking his coach's hands on the sideline, and why not? They've done a job that, I said, to turn around and have a good week of practice after the game they had with J.P. Stevens is an accomplishment in and of itself. And he got these guys prepared, and they did the job today, and my hats go off to them.
And you wear a lot of them. Okay, that's the final score. East Brunswick 28, Edison 13. Really an outstanding effort by the offense and defense when you think about it. Phil captured it pretty well when he said that there were a lot of heroes today. We mentioned McManus and, of course, the job by Costantino. And you got to be pleased and happy for this East Brunswick team that really took a beating physically and emotionally the first two games.
That's right.
So I think that's going to do it for this afternoon here. East Brunswick now 1-2. Edison falls to 2-1 on the season. Final score: East Brunswick 28, Edison 13. For Phil Hill, this is Jimmy Allinder saying, thanks for being with us.